Hello YouTube, welcome to Sunday in the Shop. It's about 9:30 in the morning. I'm Saturday, I'm halfway through my big mug. You can do this, my mug of coffee. I'm still sluggish. This is a sliding mechanism underneath the table where you slide it out to put that center section in. It's pretty good stuff, about a 1/16 of an inch thick. And we've been using it. We have two pieces. A little bit longer than this. This one's been chopped down. I'd probably take about 4 inches off it or more, because that's the original length. But even this is a nice piece of metal. See, you can make something out of that, couldn't you? Okay, let's pause and we'll show you our latest creation. We will have pictures of this at the end, and then we'll show you just a little bit of the stove. We're trying to get part 3 put together, and we just haven't been motivated to do it. We're working in projects in between, so we'll stop working on the stove when we get frustrated. Okay, this is our latest creation. We get a lot of dust in here. We cannot keep doing that. We can't have dust all over everything and be breathing it, because when you take your mask and goggles off, it's still in the air. So you're not really doing yourself any favors letting that stuff fly all over and get all over everything. This was a top-of-the-line fan in its day. I've had this probably since early 2000s. And I always plugged all electronics out in California, where I bought a lot of supplies. Go to their website and see what they got. They got all kinds of stuff, switches and oodles of stuff. It's a big surplus warehouse. I mean, these people are really good people. I've never had a problem with an order. You can actually call on the phone and talk to somebody. I talked to a lady one day, and she's sitting there working here with the background package and everything. It's an old store. You can go. They've got a YouTube video, all electronics. You can see the place. It's an old surplus building place. Let's turn it on once. We have a rocker switch on it, inline cord switch. Of course, the battery symbol's flashing. We'll take care of that. Let's turn this thing on. This supposedly moves like 500 cubic feet per air. Okay, we'll spin it around. Here's where the cord comes out. This is kind of a miniature model of that big one I built. And here's the piece of furnace builder. And look how filthy that is. See if we can shut it on and off here. Now, I want to see so you can see where it pulls it in. But it did when it was new. Yeah, that's a lot of stuff on there. This is kind of like a HEPA filter I had. It wouldn't fit in the furnace. Got stuck with it, lost the receipt. It fit, but it didn't just say it was inferior quality. It wasn't quality like came with the new furnace. Big old pleated filter I ripped apart, had the chicken wire and pulled apart so it wasn't pleated. Under here is duct tape, so I'm keeping the box pretty good shape when I put this clear package tape over to hold a piece of filter. So there you go. Let's change our battery and we'll go out to something else. Works very well. I can work right beside it. My Dremel I'm cutting is always throwing sparks and dirt that way, so I can work right beside it, lay your arm over top. I put little parts in the vice grips for safety and take the rotary tool over on the other table. So really been nice. I can have a cigarette out here and let that run, and it gets rid of the cigarette smoke. Believe it or not, you won't see it in the air. So that's how good it works. I already tested that. Okay, we'll show you a little bit of the stove build. I know this is nasty. It's all pieced together, 4 pieces. More than 4 pieces, believe me. This was that channel part. You've seen it. A lot of spot welds. I'm proud of these spot welds. I did them without a helmet. I'm learning spot weld without the helmet. With the helmet, you just make a mess. If you get your wire where you want, just go bzz, just kind of turn your head and close your eyes, and I'll keep my stocking cap pulled down, kind of over my eyes. So I kind of tilt my head away. And I had to add these little bitty pieces here. And the idea is I'll have a picture with it inside the stove. This is to let air in here. Now this is out of a 10-speed sprocket. Don't look at the mess inside of there. This is where a piece is going to pivot. And I've got that drawn out already. This is going to be my little... And I've got it drawn out. So. And I really enjoy doing this stuff. That's the big fat Sharpie marker. I don't use that dikey stuff. So there's that. Well, here's my idea. This is going to use charcoal, and I want it to have a lot of air. So we want to cut this diagonal like we've done before. We had that other stove, they're kind of square, but we want them like this. We want like two of these side by side down here. Okay? And then there'll be holes on either side. I'll probably won't have holes here. I'll wait till I get like halfway up there towards the middle so the air can suck in a little bit. And it's going to be full of a bunch of holes because charcoal needs a lot of air to keep burning. So imagine these two of these side, and that's the curve of the bottom. And this is all built to clear these bolts inside of here. See that? I haven't cut the washers off. So we'll use the front vent to fire it up. You know, then once we get it ready to shut down, we can just regulate the air in the back. Practice soldering. Somewhere in my videos I talked about it. This has been overlapped. This is a piece of stove. See where it's overlapped? This was very easy to solder because you're getting it between two. Trying to solder this. Now that's not really a hole. That's a dimple in the metal pipe, how that was made for that fan. See that? Just a dimple. This was hard to do because one side got more on it. See, and this one was dirty and it kept bubbling black. I did not do the very front. I'm not going to worry about it because it looks clean. I don't want a mess. So that's it for the stove. I show too much on Sunday in the shop. And, oh, flashlight. This was bought at Menards. Now, this is a good company. I'll plug these flashlights. This was $10. I probably shown this in a video. This is an actual pin light spotlight. See it? I had one out here that had bright and dim, one of the other ones. And no, it don't work when you're doing this stuff. This is actual spotlight. This is what you need when you get down in something. You got to have that out here in the shop. So, 2 AAAs, $10. I mean, you can't pass it up. And I've seen these on the internet, believe me, for double, triple the price. And I've also seen this brand for double the price. This is kind of like their store brand now they sell. They sell a lot of this brand. And they're priced a little bit more than the El Cheapo junk. Okay, let's go up to something else. We're giving you a whole variety today. Here is our finished C-clamp. Okay, now don't do what I do. But if you look underneath here, you see that angle iron? You see where it's all bent? I bolted that and took a C-clamp. That's how much I trust my work with this bolting JB. And that's cheap stuff though, better. And I kept cranking down on it until I straightened that because they're like this, you know what I mean? They went, because the other one, I didn't go up that far with the metal. I had it in that slot. I want this one a little bit tougher. And I did change the bolt to a new bolt. I had the bolt was really bent, so that's nice. And I don't think I'll make any holes in this. This will be just clamped to the bed, so. That's model card paint. It's already chipped up, see? It's a tool though. And it's clear coated. So this is just a cheap, I might as well show you. This stuff is like $3.75. I went to this paint, like I said, it's got the old school cap where you turn it upside down and get the air out. I quit using that brand when it clogs up. And that's pretty good stuff. If I ever do a car headlight again, I'm going to use that instead of that 3 times coating junky brand that ran off this like a slag. I thought I had it. I watched the guy who did it on YouTube and it happened to him. 3rd coat, it just ran off the headlight. He had to redo it. I'll use this stuff with light coats because it is super clear. And look at that. Look how nice and shiny that is. That's on bare metal. I like showing that stuff off that you can do. You know, it's going to chip eventually, but nice tool. What is, I said this, what, a 3.5 inch table? Oh, and I've already used it for a couple things. I'll probably use this more than my smaller one, the one that's 3 inch. It's just more sturdier and you can do more with it. And I'd recommend going like 3/16. Don't wimp out on the table. Even quarter, don't wimp out. You want that flat. You might want to tap something with a hammer or straight some metal. You ain't got an anvil. You ain't got one. I can do whatever I want. I think this is clear coated. So I had it screwed all the way to the top, hanging on to it. Okay, let's look at something else here today. Today's just going to be some odds and ends, just to get a video made, because I want to work on stuff. Like this. This was a bicycle sprocket. Okay. If I can show you. Here's the hole where the crank went through, like the other one. You got that leg on the crank. Well, being as that went through there, these slots were shorter. So if you can tell, that's homemade. I welded that hole shut, okay, and made these longer with the Dremel. Put a plug in there, countersunk for the bolt. I hope I find a bolt after all that work. And the idea is, this will sit on top of the propane stove like this. Here, this template will show you what it looked like. See what it looked like before? See that? So I filled the hole, made them longer. And all I did was just turn the template and kept checking to make sure I was making these longer. I think you can figure it out. It's kind of symmetrical. So I turned it, had the nice center hole that was just way off. That's weird. That shouldn't be off like that, that center hole. And one side's better than the other. This is actually a piece where I hole sawed something out one day. It was 1 1/4 inch or whatever. So this is the inside, so it's a little under an inch. So that's countersunk from the other side. Spot welded. So it's nice and smooth. See that? And I grounded out a bevel. Isn't that nice? Look. This is my little hot plate for the little propane stove, the one we're working on, I just showed you. And it's probably, what, 3 inches or so. You know, whole little can, a pan, little, you know, it's going to get used. It might not get much this winter, but I tell you what, I plan on doing some cooking on this one. The other one's going to be put on the mantle place on a shelf. This one's going to get used and used if I can get my way. I want to cook a bunch of stuff on it with charcoal. Okay, we're going to take a break, and then we'll see what else we can throw in here. Okay, we'll show you one more thing, then we're out of here for the day. We gave $2 for this. It's plastic. I mean, go ahead and laugh. But it's really handy when you're drawing out stuff. I've been using it, so-so. I have my metal one I've chopped up. You've seen it, where I took one of these and chopped it off, an actual one I had to dial, but it's pretty handy when you're drawing. Got your stuff. Here's what the item number is. I always tell you I don't get paid to show any of this. So if you want one, I probably wouldn't take a picture of this. What was this? Afterthought? Or they decide afterwards, like they thought about putting a wheel there? Oh, and being as I butchered my other one, I've got a depth gauge back now. That's why I grabbed this for $2. You know? And I have been using that. So, that's worth $2 when you're drawing and doing stuff. Don't pass it up. If you don't have one of these at all, and you're not a machinist and you do hobby stuff, it's worth it. It's flimsy plastic, but it's not a bad plastic. You know what I mean? It slides pretty good. Let's see if we can see what the groove looks like. Can you see the groove down in there? Maybe the top one a little bit better, but you know what I mean. it does slide pretty good. You gotta, don't bump it. When you get a measurement, don't be going like this and bumping it. Get your measurement, just leave it alone, because it moves in really easy. There you go. Thanks for watching this week. We're going to get in the house, get this video made this morning, and then we'll be out there this afternoon doing stuff, because it's supposed to be like a whole big high of 45 degrees, but no wind. Oh boy. Yesterday they bragged it was 40-something. Yeah, it wasn't that warm outside with a 25, 30 mile an hour wind gust. Metric too. See? You're getting metric. I know how to read metric, and I'm not going to explain to you how them lines line up if you're in between a half a millimeter. I'm not going to explain it. I have a metal one, and I'm not going to explain it to you. There's no way you're going to get me to do it. If you study that, there's plenty of stuff online. You can find how to read the metric part. And just like my steel one, the thousandths on top, the inch measurements, is not accurate at all. The metric is more accurate. Ain't that weird? But, yeah, see? You come up with a bonus. You got a metric ruler. Because I work with metric bolts and stuff. Okay, that's it. We're gone. Thanks for watching.